Now at 9, this chilling video from a security camera has a Utah neighborhood on high alert.
I hope they catch the guy.
You never know what kind of person this is.
And police think this person may have done this before.
A disagreement sent this moneymaker packing across state lines. But now, the massive trade show is coming back.
It was, six figures for sure for us.
How the economic boom it brings goes far beyond downtown Salt Lake.
If you like today, just get ready. Temperatures close to 80 this weekend and your next chance for rain.
We get an up-close look at how a fiery crash on I-80 unfolded and the moments a trooper jumped into action.
A Utah wrestling team is making history for their high school.
If people would just give me a chance, I could do it.
How one teen is pushing past barriers and motivating countless girls along the way.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
And new on Fox 13 News tonight, video from home security camera has South Ogden police searching for a creeper caught peering into people's homes. Brian.
Kelly, now the police department is searching for this stranger you just saw. Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser has more about the investigation and their warning to the community.
Here in the South Ogden neighborhood near 40th and Madison, officers have received 3 reports over the last few days of a man coming onto people's properties and looking through their windows.
Close your curtains and keep your house lights on late. That's the guidance from South Ogden police as they track down a man caught on video peering through home windows.
It's terrifying to think of because most of my house is filled with women.
Sunday night, then Monday night, security cameras at 2 different homes show a man poking around people's property.
I hope they catch the guy because you never know what they'll take or what they'll do.
Neighbors are on edge, saying it's violating and a lack of privacy.
I like to think that I would grab something to threaten with or warn them away, but the other part of me is just leave the room and wait until it's gone.
Detective Jeremy Nelson says over the weekend, 2 women went after the man with a baseball bat.
I give her points for the courage to do that and confront somebody, but at the same time, you never know what kind of person this is. You never know if he has a firearm on him or some other sort of weapon.
Investigators still aren't sure if it's the same guy in all the videos they have. Nelson says they do have a lead on who this man could be, but is still advising the community to be on the lookout.
It's best just to stay inside the home, call 911, let us respond and deal with somebody like this, because like I said, you just don't know who you're dealing with.
South Ogden officers are also checking in with the Ogden City Police Department to see if this man is connected to a previous case where a man was arrested for voyeurism. Now, if you live in this neighborhood near 40th and Madison, review your home security videos, and if you see anything suspicious, report it. Reporting in South Ogden, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
New at 9, the search is on tonight for a missing woman in Juab County. Deputies are looking for Lenore Allred. She's 45 years old. She was last seen last night in Rocky Ridge. Her family is worried for her safety. She may be in either Juab or Utah counties. If you know where she is, you are asked to give Juab County dispatchers a call.
A big announcement today. After 5 years, the massive outdoor retailer trade show is returning to Salt Lake City. The convention announced its return to the Salt Palace next year. The massive trade show left Utah in 2017, in part over public disagreements with Utah leaders about environmental policies, including Bears Ears National Monument. Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall personally negotiated for their return.
Ultimately, it was about compelling Outdoor Retailer as an organization to use their leadership, use their momentum to come to bat at a critical conversation and not necessarily stay where it's easier and more convenient to sit back.
Now, despite the announcement, some outdoor retail companies are still threatening to boycott. Those with Outdoor Retailer acknowledge not everyone is happy with the return to Salt Lake City. But Brian, there were other things that also lured Outdoor Retailer back, including a massive new convention center hotel.
Kelly, the return of the trade show will undoubtedly bring more people into downtown Salt Lake City, which will in turn help local businesses. But there's also the expectation that the impact from this event alone could be felt across the entire state.
There are 158 restaurants and retailers who are very happy to see this happen.
A boost to Utah's post-pandemic economy is coming soon as the Outdoor Retailer Show announces its return to Salt Lake City.
This particular event brings $40 million of economic impact with it each year, but it really ripples out larger than that.
The Downtown Alliance says this show is more than just a convention. It has a ripple effect on the hospitality industry throughout the state.
When they left, for us, it was a big deal because it was one of our bigger clients.
Isaac Gonzalez's company worked 14 outdoor retailer shows for over 7 years and took a big hit when it left for Denver.
I mean, it was, 6 figures for sure for us.
With the show's return, he's hoping it could bring his event production company back along for the ride. The show, like any large event downtown, drives people to local businesses. Located a stone's throw from the convention center and the brand new Hyatt Regency Hotel, Ivy and Varley Restaurant and Bar is looking forward to the large crowds.
All of the people that come in for conferences, when they get to Salt Lake, they're like, what do we do here? What's going on in Salt Lake? And we love being one of those first touch points to say this city has so much to offer.
With a lot of change in Salt Lake City since the show left for Denver in 2017, the business sector appears to be welcoming it back with open arms.
Just the vitality, the sense on the street, the pop-ups that are everywhere. The city really feels alive, and that's actually a place where anybody can tap in and sort of feel that and participate.
Regency Salt Lake City Hotel, located next to the Salt Palace, is nearing its completion. It'll feature 700 rooms, and they're now accepting reservations for as early as mid-October, Kelly.
Well, the relationship between Outdoor Retailer and Utah has always been complicated. The expo repeatedly threatened to leave over its 20-year history. Last month, you may recall, Utah Governor Spencer Cox said Utah moved on without Outdoor Retailer.
We did not miss them at all. And so I'm hopeful they come back. I think it would be great to have them come back, but they're hurting their own cause. And I think that's what they really don't realize, because they gave up their seat at the table.
Today, the governor welcomed them back, saying this is great news for Utah's expanding outdoor industry and all those who love getting outside and experiencing the state's natural beauty. We look forward to welcoming Outdoor Retailer back to Salt Lake City.
Turning to your weather tonight with meteorologist Allison Krogan. Allison, I was downtown in Salt Lake City this afternoon. Felt like spring, looked like spring.
Yes.
People were outside like spring.
Chamber of Commerce weather.
Chamber of Commerce on a Wednesday, and now 80s are in the future?
Yes, close to 80 here in Salt Lake. So this is above average for our 7-day forecast. But today we were very close to average. So we were just really cool. Then we had that snow a few days ago. But right now it's 52 here in Salt Lake, 50 in Ogden, 45 in Provo, and much hotter temperatures are on the way. So these Chamber of Commerce temps this evening, we've got 45 in Provo and Logan, 51 for Cedar City, 62 currently in St. George. Then tomorrow morning when you wake up, it'll be right about 40 degrees, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. By 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, our temperatures will be closer to about 45 to 50 degrees. And then for daytime highs tomorrow, we're close to 70 degrees here in Salt Lake City with mostly sunny skies. So here are your top weather headlines on this Wednesday night. Very nice weather to end the week. We could see some record temperatures this weekend, potentially the earliest 80-degree day ever here in Salt Lake City, and then some storms early next week. The timing of our next storm, more about the warm-up that we're going to experience coming up in your full forecast.
An Amber Alert helped bring a Utah girl home from Texas and put the suspected abductor in handcuffs. But how effective are they? Fox 13 News is getting answers.
Let's step back. Let's have a thoughtful conversation and quit being driven by emotion and fear.
We are just days away from a controversial bill taking center stage on Utah's Capitol Hill once again. What the state's largest teachers union and the Salt Lake County DA think about a proposed ban of transgender athletes in Utah schools.
Utah school children wrote cards to Ukrainian refugees, and now those cards are on their way. Hear from the man making the journey to deliver them.
If you want to do it, you can do it, and I think that's what inspires everybody about her.
And against all odds, a Duchesne County teen is showing a lot of heart on the wrestling mat. It's a story you will only see on Fox 13 News.
Well, Welcome back to Fox 13 News at 9. Brian Schnee with Kelly Chapman tonight. This year, one high school team is making history right here in the Beehive State in more ways than one.
Fox 13 News reporter Aaron Cox shows us how a group of 3 students at Duchesne High School, they're coming together to support their teammate in overcoming all the odds against her.
It's a state high school wrestling competition. It brings all these students together at the Snow College campus in Richfield. There's a group of 4 students who are making wrestling history for their high school.
It's a big accomplishment for sure because this is our first year.
3, 4, 5! It's the first time an all-girl wrestling team from Duchesne High School is competing.
I honestly didn't expect myself to be here, but I've improved. We all have improved so much throughout the year, and it's exciting to see the more and more improvements.
All 4 of these girls, I feel like have, outperformed themselves a little bit.
Coach Shane Ivey started the wrestling team when his daughter wanted to compete.
Very rewarding as you progress and grow and grow.
It's been a year of growth for all 4 girls, especially for Aspen Huntington.
People I've wrestled have always been smaller than me, and then you get into this, and it's actually competition.
Make no mistake about it, Aspen is a fierce competitor.
Oh, you're strong!
You can see that determination in Aspen while she's wrestling on the mat.
Holy crap!
But what you may not see, the limitations Aspen faces.
We're all different. I'm more quirky than others.
The 15-year-old has been wrestling with her health since she was born. Autism, epilepsy, and cerebral palsy, to name just a few.
The best way to describe it is a very emotional roller coaster. Because you get mad, you get frustrated, and especially when they're sick and you don't know how to help them. You feel helpless a lot. So it's very emotional.
But even in the struggle, Aspen's mom, Michelle,
my heart stops every time you wrestle.
Believes in working for what you want.
I've always taught her, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. We might just have to do it differently. And she kind of threw that back in my face when she wanted to wrestle.
I've always wanted to wrestle.
Right off the bat, she came in and she had a limp to her and stuff and different things, with her conditions. And your first thoughts are, what can I do with this girl and how can I get her to, be part of wrestling.
After consulting with Michelle and Aspen's doctors, Coach Ivey started looking up how to coach a student with disabilities.
Her desires continued to grow to be a wrestler and continue to compete no matter what conditions that she has to fight with.
The whole team was surprised at Aspen's strength.
I actually wrestled her, and I loved it so much. I had to do it.
So who inspired her? She wrote, "Even though I'm a girl with disabilities, I can do anything anyone else can. My family, friends, and teachers."
Aspen has inspired girls across the state. One team even came together to buy Aspen new shoes.
We became besties.
She has a lot of heart. That girl, she's my biggest idol. I can't even stop. I can't even say how much. She's so down to earth. I don't know. It takes a lot to be that tough, and she's not just physically tough, she's mentally tough.
When you're out there on the mat, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about your teammates?
I want to win. If you think about it, even though I have all these disabilities, that doesn't really limit my, I was about to say doesn't limit me mentally. If people would just give me a chance, I could do it.
There's a lot more to Aspen than just to, her complications.
She shows everybody every day that it doesn't matter what you have. If you want to do it, you can do it, and I think that's what inspires everybody about her.
Even though Aspen did not take home a trophy at the state competition this year, she went home knowing they made high school history
for their first year as a team and first year going to state. Aspen says she is also a cheerleader and plans to continue doing both sports until she graduates. In studio, Aaron Cox, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Team Aspen all the way.
Inspiring.
Absolutely.
Wow.
She gave all those athletes a little something to take home, I think, after that competition.
Yes.
Way to go. Beautiful weather across the state today, and I hear it's only going to get nicer.
Yes, well, speaking of athletes, Kelly, I know the answer to this question, but Brian, have you ever done Angel's Landing? Have you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Kelly and I, we're the ones that are a little more
never
safety concerned when out doing activities. I'm afraid of heights. Kelly's also a scaredy cat.
This is how I do Angel's Landing.
Yeah.
And this is how many people should do Angel's Landing, Kelly. You're not
Susie,
alone.
great picture, but yeah, I've made it to the little angels or whatever they call the little thing before you get to the spine of it. Further that way, and it's a very pretty view as well. So even if you don't finish the hike, it's still very nice. But yes, what a fantastic picture. Kelly mentioned the weather's only going to be getting better. It's going to be getting hotter this weekend. We're close to pool weather for a lot of the state. If you're lucky enough to have a pool, 52 degrees here in Salt Lake. I'm not that lucky. We have high pressure the next few days, and then additional clouds move in this weekend. So this weekend will be warm but cloudy, and it'll be a little breezy on Sunday. And then by Monday, that's when our next storm moves in. We're going to see some chances for some rain into Tuesday morning and then into Tuesday evening. Then by Wednesday, we're drying out. So that's kind of the overview of the forecast the next couple of days. And then temperature-wise, that's the main headline, especially this weekend. But for right now, 45 in Provo, 37 in Tooele, 54 Ogden, 43 for Delta, 43 for Vernal right now, 43 for Bryce, 57 down in Kanab, 62 currently in St. George, 51 for Cedar. Salt Lake City today, we were very close to average. 57 is a normal high. Today's high was 60 degrees. Our sun will rise tomorrow morning about 7:25, and it will set tomorrow night about 7:45. This weekend, if we hit 80 degrees, and we are going to be very close to it, if not 80, Saturday and Sunday, we've got the possibility. If we hit that, that'll be the earliest day we've ever had 80 here in Salt Lake City. So the earliest prior to today this year would be March 31st. But if we hit the 26th or 27th or any time before next week, that would be a new earliest all-time record for Salt Lake for that 80-degree mark. Now here across Utah tonight, we have mostly clear sky. Sunset was really nice. Some great pictures coming in here across the state. We've got temperatures tomorrow morning that'll be comfortable when you're heading out the door. So kids, if they've got the school bus or they walk to school, no problems tomorrow morning. Definitely grab a jacket when you head out the door, but during the afternoon, we'll have some really nice temperatures. So Thursday, 6 a.m., one day closer to the weekend, we're mid-30s for Provo and Eagle Mountain, and then close to about 40 to 45 for Tooele, Salt Lake, and for Ogden. Then tomorrow here in Salt Lake City, warmer than it was today. Temperatures by lunchtime right around 60, and then into the afternoon hours, we're mid to upper 60s during the afternoon hours. So pausing this at 4 o'clock across the board, 61 in Provo at that time, 63 for Price, 66 in Tooele, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s for Ogden, Logan close to 60 tomorrow, St. George near 80, and then our chance for precipitation is going to be going up next week. We'll talk more about this coming up later in the hour because right now it looks like Monday night into Tuesday is our best chance here in Salt Lake. For St. George, you're close to 90 Friday and Saturday, 60s next week for Monday and Tuesday, the chance for some rain on Monday. Here in Salt Lake City, we've got mid-70s Friday, close to 80 this weekend, chances for rain early next week. We'll talk more about what you can expect with that next storm coming up later in the hour.
Allison, thank you. We'll see you in just a few. A University of Utah experiment is going into space. What the researchers hope to learn about space travel.
The Utah Jazz trying to stay in that fourth spot in the West with a win tonight in Boston. I'll have the highlights coming up.
In national news, President Joe Biden's Supreme Court nominee, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, faced more questions from lawmakers today, now on the third day of her confirmation hearings.
Lawmakers focused on her criminal defense attorney record, and she responded to some criticism that she has been soft on crime.
I understand the need for law enforcement, the importance of holding people accountable for their criminal behavior. I also, as a lawyer and a citizen, believe very strongly in our Constitution and the rights that make us free.
After the hearings wrap, the committee will vote on whether to advance the nomination, which appears on track to happen. A final vote on the Senate floor will follow.
President Donald Trump won't be testifying at the trial of a Capitol rioter. Federal Judge Reggie Walton formally rejected Dustin Thompson's plan to ask the former president to testify. The argument was that Trump and his allies provoked the crowd on January 6th and encouraged the violence at the Capitol. This is the first judge to rule that a defendant should not be allowed to shift blame. Some judges have agreed Trump did play a role in what happened on that day, but Judge Walton also pointed out those who spoke at the rally are not the ones on trial.
Madeline Albright, the first female U.S. Secretary of State, has died at age 84 after a battle with cancer. Albright was a central figure in President Bill Clinton's administration. She served as a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations before becoming the nation's top diplomat during Clinton's second term. President Obama awarded her the Medal of Freedom in 2012. As Secretary of State, Albright sought to reduce the spread of nuclear weapons and championed human rights and democracy around the world.
A violent crash on I-80. Tonight, see the collision from multiple angles and what happened right after the moment of impact.
Jazz battling the Celtics in Boston, plus BYU trying to get to the NIT semifinals.
After a disappointing start, a pageant celebrating some of Utah's most outstanding girls is back on. How strangers from all over stepped up to save the show.
So glad you're with us tonight. Thank you for joining us at 9:30. Utah Highway Patrol releasing body camera, also dash camera video of a crash involving a trooper, also a semi-truck, and several other vehicles.
Oh, it's really intense. Take a look.
Wow, multiple angles there.
Yeah, and the crash happened in the afternoon of March 2nd on I-80 near Grantsville. A trooper stopped a semi and was standing on the road talking to the driver. He says another semi tried to give them room, but didn't see a Honda in its blind spot, overcorrected, hit the vehicles, flipped over, and then caught on fire. The trooper immediately made sure all involved were safe. 2 people in the Honda were taken to the hospital in stable condition.
Tonight, dozens more women have come forward in a lawsuit against an OBGYN in Provo. Originally filed in February of this year, 4 women claim they were sexually assaulted while he was their doctor. The number has now been raised to 50 other Jane Does, all claiming to be patients of Dr. David Broadbent between 1979 and 2021. Broadbent's attorney told our partners at the Salt Lake Tribune, Broadbent denies all of the allegations of wrongdoing. The amended complaint filed March 14th also alleges that certain healthcare systems, quote, fail to stop Broadbent despite complaints against him.
New tonight, authorities in Salt Lake County have arrested a man with a history of voyeurism, lewdness, and assault, this time for crimes related to child pornography. Fox 13 News told you about this man, Jonathan Soberanis, last month. He's been arrested multiple times over the years, but we're told he keeps getting released because of a mental disability. Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office is now asking for a no bail hold on him while he's in custody.
After a teen from Magna was found safe in Texas following an Amber Alert issued across Utah yesterday, it begs the question, just how effective are these alerts? Fox 13 News took that question to first responders today. There have been 66 Amber Alerts issued in the state of Utah involving 79 children. 76 of those have been returned home safely, which is a 96% success rate. The Utah Bureau of Criminal Identification, which is the state agency responsible for those Amber Alerts, says it's oftentimes tips from the public that brings Amber Alerts to a good conclusion.
We're just grateful to our law enforcement partners and to the public for those tips that come in and result in that safe and fast recovery of the child.
Well, Utah was an early adopter of the national Amber Alert systems. The first Amber Alert in the state was in 2003 for Elizabeth Smart.
Tonight, the state of Utah's largest teachers union is supporting Governor Spencer Cox in his veto of the controversial bill that would ban transgender athletes from competing in school sports. We're also hearing from Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill about the legislature's plan to override the governor's veto later this week. Gill says if this becomes law, it could have a big impact beyond what happens in court.
Just think about the economic impacts that we're going to have as a state. If you're the all-stars from the NBA, you're not going to want to come down here. There's other businesses that are not going to want to come down here. So I think that let's step back, let's have a thoughtful conversation and quit being driven by emotion and fear and targeting these children. Let just kids be kids. Let them play their sports. That's what childhood is about.
Legislative leaders trying to override the veto said that they want to ensure girls are not edged out of sports. This session to override the veto is scheduled for Friday afternoon.
Well, Utah's weekly average for COVID-19 cases has dropped again. 119 people tested positive in the past day. Health officials report 35 additional deaths, 31 of which are from prior to a month ago. As we told you yesterday, you may remember, you can expect to see death tolls like this in the coming days because the health department is investigating past cases. Of note, one of the Utahns listed in today's death report was between the ages of 18 and 24.
The United States government now formally accusing Russian forces of committing war crimes in Ukraine. Dozens of attacks on Ukrainian healthcare facilities have been confirmed by the World Health Organization. Meantime, the humanitarian crisis from this war continues to grow. The bloc chief of the European Union says one child from Ukraine arrives in the EU every second.
Hundreds of cards and artwork from school-aged kids right here in Utah were stowed on a plane today, all to be hand-delivered by a local restaurant owner to children fleeing Ukraine. It was a little over a week ago, Utah's First Lady, Abby Cox, put out a call to action for school-aged children to offer friendship, also encouragement by way of cards and art. Dirk Assel was already set to go volunteer in Poland with a church group, but then he was asked by Salt Lake City's own Ukrainian consul to personally deliver the two 50-pound bags of cards.
The biggest message from my friends that are there now is that they're just scared. And so having a friend, even if they're from Utah that they've never met, reach out, I think is going to really help the kids. And then obviously just getting them to safety is a big help.
It's a sweet gesture. Dirk will be joining church friends in Poland who are helping to shuttle refugees from the border of Ukraine. He will be driving a van for the next week, helping strangers in another country. Well, the middle class used to dominate America's economy, but not anymore. A new report on Utah sheds light how strong our middle class is, and if you're a part of it.
And now that spring's back, so are those potholes on the roads. How you can help UDOT out as they patch up roads all across the state. Allison.
And coming up, we do have some very warm temperatures in the forecast. We do have clear sky tonight, but I'm tracking an all-time record as a possibility. When you can expect your next chance for rain coming up.
Unified police have identified the woman hit and killed by a pickup truck near 7500 South State Street in Midvale this morning. Police say the driver was southbound on State Street going through a green light when 33-year-old Patricia Ann Earl ran out into the road.
Really no time to react to that. Witnesses do tell us that they were yelling at her, but she did just start out into the street.
The driver stayed on scene and is cooperating with police.
Two people escaped a house fire in Orem today. It happened this morning near 900 South, 4th East. Orem firefighters say it was an electrical fire. One of the people in the home suffered minor injuries.
One resident found the computer that was overheating and caught fire. Tried to remove that. He had some minor blistering on his fingertips. Couldn't get the fire out, and then it extended rapidly from that point.
The fire killed a cat and a dog in the home and destroyed a trailer and two vehicles. The house itself is considered salvageable with damage estimated at $120,000. Utah is America's strongest middle class, according to a new report from the Utah Foundation. The new report in the nonprofit think tank considers a household to be the middle class if it makes somewhere between 2/3 of the median income and twice that median income. The latest income numbers for Utah show if you fit in that category, if your household makes between $49,000 and $148,000 a year, though the size of your family would also impact that status. Peter Reichert of the Utah Foundation told Fox 13 News a strong middle class is important for social cohesion. Too much separation between the rich and the poor leads to discontent.
The fact is our nation is becoming increasingly stratified. And particularly, we see it when we look at our major American cities, the urban-rural divide we talk about a lot in Utah. But the good news is Utah has a remarkably strong middle class.
The Utah Foundation report shows 54% of Utah households are in the middle class. Nationally, the middle class makes up just 47% of households.
Well, it's back, and with the return of warmer weather comes more and more new potholes out on Utah roads, and there's some big ones out there. UDOT crews are already in the process of addressing some of those trouble spots. They've been in Summit County, in particular on I-80 eastbound just before Kimball Junction, also on Highway 40 westbound to I-80 on the flyover ramp.
It becomes a safety issue if you hit a pothole going at freeway speeds, and it can cause damage to your vehicle or even worse. And so that's why we want to stay on top of it.
Not good when you hit one. UDOT wants to remind everyone to report any issues when they encounter anything out on the roads. All you have to do is go to their Click and Fix app, which can be downloaded on any smartphone's app store.
The show must go on, how you can help give confidence to young women and girls with disabilities.
BYU with a chance to play the NIT semifinal at Madison Square Garden. But first, they needed to beat Washington State tonight. And the Jazz ran into the hottest team in the NBA tonight in Boston. Could the Jazz keep pace with the Celtics? The highlights are on the way.
So glad you're with us midweek here on Fox 13 News at 9. I'm Kelly Chapman along with Brian Schnee, who's filling in for Bob Evans tonight. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Kelly.
We also have Utah's Weather Authority meteorologist Allison Krogan, kind of the woman of the week, talking about all this nice weather we've been experiencing and feeling outside today, and it's only going to get nicer if you like those warm, dare I say hot temperatures. She'll tell you all about it coming up in a few minutes.
And she's wearing red too tonight. Scientists with the University of Utah Health want to know how space travel affects the human body.
This is so interesting. From blast off to splash down, there is a wide variety of health hazards for astronauts. And even after 60 years of space exploration, much remains unknown about the long-term effects. So Utah scientists partnered with NASA. They're looking into how space travel affects bone marrow cells, which in turn affect blood platelets.
Stress going on there, just the work environment, the continuous danger is very stressful there on the bodies. The immune system is usually not functioning as properly as it should be. And so that is where our research interest is focused on.
Well, they hope launching this experiment to the International Space Station will answer key questions about biology in space, as well as on the ground.
Deep gratitude, humility, and a lot of excitement for the opportunity I'm going to have to serve as the 17th president of the University of Utah.
Today, the University of Utah officially welcomed the school's 17th president, Taylor R. Randall. Members of the Utah Board of Education attended the inaugural event. Governor Spencer Cox also attended, sharing his excitement and why he thinks this former dean of the David Eccles School of Business will be the perfect fit.
I've never once questioned his decision making, with one exception. And that is when he decided to say yes to my asking him to come and join our team. I will say he was very hesitant. He knew the job ahead and he knew how difficult it would be. But he jumped in with both feet.
Randall tells the school he is committed to making the University of Utah one of the best experiences in the nation for students, faculty, employees, and patients. Utah Miss Amazing, a nonprofit that gives confidence to young girls and young women, of course, with disabilities, was at risk of not being able to take the stage.
And that's too bad because this is a special program. Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree tells us how the community is now helping the pageant return this year in a way that is positively Utah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Katie Christensen has too many crowns to count.
I love it and it's really fun.
The reigning Utah Miss Amazing Teen Queen has been competing in this special pageant since 2015, when she was just 12.
She does really well. She interviews really well, and she has a little spark, and I think they just fall in love with her.
But this year, there wasn't going to be a pageant. The nonprofit didn't have the funds to put it on. Mom Annette Christensen knew she had to help.
I've seen how much it means to the girls and how special they feel. Miss Amazing is obviously a nonprofit organization, and it empowers girls and women with disabilities to be able to reach their full potential.
Through the power of social media, Utah Miss Amazing was able to raise the money to secure a venue to have the pageant this spring, virtually overnight, which means Katie will get to crown the next teen queen.
She went up to girls and would tell them how beautiful they were and how lovely their hair was and how gorgeous their dress was and that they were so beautiful and hugging people. And I think that's what it's all about, you know, making those connections with people that are like them.
Katie says she could not be more excited.
My favorite part in pageants, it's I love competing with other girls.
The Utah Miss Amazing pageant will be on Saturday, May 7th at venue 669 in downtown Salt Lake. The nonprofit still needs support through donors and sponsors. They also need more participants and helpers. You can find more information on missamazing.org. In Salt Lake City, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, that is amazing. And we've got
great that they were saved.
One of the best helpers is Allison Krogan with the Miss Amazing Utah pageant this year. Allison, this is great that it's going to go on once again.
Oh my goodness. When I found out that it maybe wasn't going to be happening this year, I was like, okay, we got to rally people together. And
you did on your social media pages.
Yes,
yesterday.
somebody was able to get me in touch with the person who has 669, and it's all coming together. The viewers on my Instagram and Facebook having really come together. Brian has volunteered to hopefully be able to come out if it works with his schedule on that day.
Anything too.
Yeah.
Too.
Yes.
Yeah. Well
We've got
done.
a former Miss Utah wanting to help out, so I'll be there hosting the event this year. It is a really incredible event. It's such a touching thing to be a part of. So happy it's happening this year. Nice spring weather today here in Salt Lake City. As you wake up tomorrow morning, it'll be around 40 degrees by 10 o'clock tomorrow. We're looking at temperatures into the 50s with plenty of sunshine. Clear sky here tonight. Good air quality through Friday. Some really nice temperatures over the next few afternoons and even the next few mornings. Really not going to have too bad of a start. So at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, 36 in Provo. Temperatures right around freezing for Logan. Low 40s for Ogden and Tooele, and for St. George tomorrow morning, 46. Forecast at a glance for the Wasatch Front tomorrow, 66 for Salt Lake, 65 for Ogden, 63 for Provo. For Central Utah, Cedar City, 67, 65 for Ridgefield, 82 for St. George tomorrow. St. George, you're close to 90 this weekend. And for Eastern Utah, perfect hiking weather. Vernal, 64 tomorrow, 66 in Price, 71 in Moab. So Futurecast, not a whole lot happening here the next few days. Some passing clouds at times. Until this weekend, a lot more clouds move in. Saturday at 6 p.m., we'll start to see a little bit of a breeze out of the southwest. Sunday, we'll see a little bit of a breeze, but by Monday into Tuesday, this is our next best chance for some rain. Monday evening into Tuesday. So we're going to be tracking high snow levels. So the ski resorts really aren't going to be getting a whole lot out of this. And then our temperature outlook through the first week of April through the 6th of April, we're going to have temperatures a little bit cooler than average for most of the country. Look at that. And then as we look at our precipitation outlook for the same time frame through that first week of April, we're looking at us out west, including Utah, with a little bit of a wetter than usual setup for that first week. So at least there's a little bit of good news for our drought there. St. George, you're close to 90 degrees Friday, Saturday, 68 on Monday, 68 on Tuesday. Chance for some rain early next week. Here in Salt Lake, close to 80 this weekend, 67 next Monday, 52 next Tuesday.
The Utah Jazz continued their 6-game road trip tonight in Boston with their 3rd game in 4 nights against the hot team in the Celtics that had won 4 in a row in 9 of their last 10 games. The Celtics continued their hot play tonight. Jason Tatum on fire early. 3 off the dribble is good. Then he gets it, ball fake, steps to his left and hits another 3. He made 5 threes, finished with 26 points. The Jazz came out of the timeout with this play. It's a good one. Down low to Rudy Gobert. He had 14 points and 11 rebounds, but the Celtics kept making shots. Jaylen Brown, money on the 3. Boston led up by 23 points at the half. Donovan Mitchell did his best to try to keep the Jazz in it. Nice use of the body there, and he gets the friendly roll. Then he works for another tough shot. The spin, then he gets the up and under shot to go. He led the Jazz with 37 points, but it was a night to forget for the Jazz. Brown with another 3. He had 26. The Celtics won at 125-97. The Jazz and Dallas Mavericks are tied for 4th in the West at 45 and 28. BYU played at home against the chance to earn a trip to the semifinals at Madison Square Garden of the NIT, but they had to beat Washington State. Caleb Lohner knocks down an early 3, but the Cougs made just 3 of 20 from long range. Here's Alex Barcelo. Jumper is good to put the Cougs up 2. He finished with 12 points. Then they go inside the Fus Traore, and he scores it. He led BYU with 16 points. BYU trailed by 11.5, and they pulled away in the second half. Michael Flowers, 4-point play. He led Wazoo with 27. Washington State won at 77-58, ending the Cougars' season. Utah State also started spring football practice this week. Today they had their pro day. Representatives from 17 NFL teams were in Logan to check out 15 former Aggies show what they can do. Now, no Utah State players were invited to the NFL Combine, so today was a big day.
It was a great day for the Aggies. I thought we all performed really well. What we heard was, it's kind of funny because we were underdog. Everybody thought we were underdogs all year, right? But they were like, wow, this is one of the most talented groups we've had. And it's like, wow, I wonder why we won the championship. And I wonder why we're 11-3, you know? And we're just joking around about not having that many all-conference guys. I'm like, no, the Aggies can play, and I think we all showed that today.
Kind of wraps up their great season, 11 wins, conference championship. Now they're chasing the money.
Big level stuff.
Money, yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know what happens.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
We'll be right back. Finally, on Fox 13 News at 9, a meeting of the minds in Washington, D.C. Utah Senator Mitt Romney finally met Rit Romney face-to-face today for a Romney-Momney Super Summit.
Wow.
Senator Romney said in a tweet that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery.
So that guy's a singer, right?
Yeah.
Very
he's kind of
funny.
famous.
Quick Cast is next.